Hey everybody, Texas Stroker here, Lance's Performance Shop, Mopars.com. Still out here cleaning and cranking things out. Just got back, spring break, had our little steak burger and shake deal. So we're going to pick up where we left off. Got everything cleaned up there from that half-inch drive socket set. And that is a nice segue into these items. So this one is something I picked up locally when it was on sale. Standard price would be $9.99. I think these were like $6.99 when I snagged them. It's just I actually wanted the 3/8 and they weren't in, so I thought, well, we'll just grab the half-inch drive. And basically it's just impact extension set. It's 4 pieces. It's kind of oddball sizes. If you're curious, it looks like there's an 1 3/4. That would be our stubby. There's a 2.5 right here in the middle. We've got a 4 1/4 right over here, and then a 9 1/4 would be the long one. So we'll set that off to the side. That will pair nicely with these items. These I actually tried to cancel. I ordered them eons ago when they were on sale. I couldn't make it to the store that night before the promo went away. I just went ahead and placed the order. Lo and behold, it took them like 2 weeks to ship them, and then I was going to be out of town for spring break, and I was like, hey, I need to cancel this order, in part because I didn't want them showing up on the porch and being stolen, and 2, I would have preferred to take advantage of the sale, which is still going right now as I film this, for $19.99. I think I got them for $21.99. But it's nothing fancy. It is just the Pittsburgh half-inch drive deep impact sockets. Thing is, we didn't just do SAE, we sprung for the metrics as well. Now, weird thing, and I think the camera is going to show this quite nicely. These have like sort of a gloss polish to them, and these are typical like your black phosphate aesthetic, right? In fact, if I look right here on the metric, we've got deep wall design black phosphate finish to prevent corrosion, and this says the same thing. So why these are so contrastingly different, I don't know. We had the exact same thing on those US General magnetic tool racks. One of them was like a flat black and the other was straight up gloss. I couldn't explain it to you. Same thing here. These, again, these are not, don't worry, they're not going to be the main impact sockets. These are sort of like the junker, scrapper, you know, modify freely type of an impact socket. And also they're sort of a thin wall. Part of that being they're Chrome Vanadium. I do not like Chrome Vanadium for impact sockets. I'm someone that prefers Chrome Moly. I don't care what anyone's engineering department say. I don't care how much money they throw into research. I don't care if they say, yeah, Vanadium's fine up until X exorbitantly large size, and then you switch over. That's not how I was raised. That's not what I was taught. I'm not changing. I want a big, heavy, you know, Chrome Moly impact socket. That's just, again, that's what I grew up with. That's what I'm sticking with. And again, where these shine, aside from the absurd price point, it's just, it's a thin wall. When I have, like at work, I have fat, thick, heavy impact sockets. For automotive stuff, that's sometimes not desirable. It depends, you know. If the motor's out of a car, you can get to the crank bolt. If the motor's in the car, can you get to the crank bolt with an impact? Sort of a catch-22 type of a deal. This more or less mirrors what you see in a standard socket. In fact, these almost look like just a black chrome, like a really oddly done black chrome. But we'll run with the phosphate deal, but they are, I wouldn't say glossy, I'd say more of like a you know, semi-gloss. And then over here on the metric side, these suckers are straight up just everything you'd expect. Black phosphate, flat, dull finish. So the battery light is flashing. I didn't think this would take too long. I want to get these off and kind of showcase them. Hopefully it's not as cumbersome as that half-inch drive set. But in our SAE, this is going to be 13 pieces, so is metric. 7/16, half, 9/16, 5/8, 11/16, 3/4, 13/16, 7/8, 15/16 inch, 1 1/16, 1 1/8, and 1 1/4. This is a very nice comprehensive set, in my opinion, for the vast majority of people. Going up to 1 1/4 is big. That allows you to use 3/4 hardware. At that point, can you go bigger? Half-inch drive, absolutely. Will most garden variety people, DIY, even, you know, like automotive people do that? Yes. you get into industry, you get into bigger trucks, you're going to need 3/4, 1 inch. You would make your transition at some point. But I feel like 3/4 hardware is more than acceptable for 1/2 inch, so I'm stoked it goes there. Many times you see 7/8, the cutoff point, sometimes 15/16, which is big for me because I use a ton of 5/8. 1 inch, it's a big number, but it doesn't really translate well to fasteners with what I do. 1.25 inch, we've got that covered. That means we've got 3/4 down. Coming in over here with our metric, this is going to skip where this was sort of all intact. Metric, we bounce around. Cool thing there, while yes, there are skips, some of the SAE stuff will fill in if you have them. Most people won't if you're doing all late model or new stuff. But by skipping and not having, consistency 10 through 19, example for 9 of your pieces, we get some bigger sockets down here. So check this out. 10, skipping 11 and 12, we have 13, 14, 15, skip 16, have 17, 18 and 19 are included here. You skip 20, you've got 21, 22, 24, 27, 30, and 32. So realistically, would 36 be nice? Yes. Again, should you step up? Probably. Will most people swing it with 1/2 inch? Yeah. But do I wish that this was comprehensive? It didn't skip, sure. But at the same time, this covers most things. Obviously, if you're sitting there and you're like, oh, well, that doesn't have, what I need, track one down individually, take it to town that week, pre-teched, and you can pick them up solo. But yeah, what I will do while this is flashing, I guess I'll break this down, try to get these off. I want to hold them side by side for you. It's pretty apparent here. These came in pretty oily in the box. These were internet order again because I couldn't get to the store. And ultimately, I did wipe them down, and it's just, these look kind of like a black chrome almost, and this is just straight up phosphate like you'd expect. So like I said, don't worry, I've got way better sockets for my primary use. These are sort of think of these as like the thin wall option. If I come in and we drop down a big slug of a proto or something, doesn't fit due to clearance on the sidewall, instead of me having to go and grind that down or something stupid to a nice socket, we have these. I don't like using Chrome Vanadium for an impact, but we can. So let's take these apart, check out the business end of them, look at the drive-in, and sort of compare and contrast the two different finishes. All right, I had to interrupt my workflow. If you ever wonder why I still listen to CDs, it's because the radio stations suck. It's like nobody plays classic rock anymore. It's garbage. But speaking of garbage, we have to examine this a little bit. Now, I've taken the metrics apart. The back side, I assume there's some nice way to remove these. So everywhere you see these 5 spots had a number 2 Phillips screw in it, case in point. Here I have my handy dandy arm extender right there on the end of the PB Swiss, right? So that's what I kind of expected over here. Well, going along with our, traditional black phosphate versus whatever this is, it's almost oiled and baked differently or something. Vast difference. Where these are stamped with Pittsburgh and you have the size indicator in a square, 32, it's fairly deep stamping. These are way up on the barrel. I don't like that personally because this is the business end of the socket. That means that where it's going down in a hole or up against items, it's going to rub there. There's no other stampings on this one. This is also a total different feel. This is traditional, just grab any old impact shelf socket. It's got that same, look and finish and feel to it. This is like gloss. I mean, this is almost like a spray bomb job or something. But I don't like that. It's also not stamped very deep at all on these, and it's super difficult to see. This is actually the bigger one. I just came in and ripped that off. 1 1/8 inches, so not quite the biggest, but something we would utilize. And then these, as I was cleaning the oil off of them, again, bear with me, I'm kind of in a time crunch with the battery light. The 32 looks fine, I can see that. And then this one right here, I'm not sure the camera will do it justice, but that is stamped absurdly shallow comparatively. That's why it's washing out and not focusing. Camera's trying to track her down right there. The 22, I mean, good freaking grief. That is just, it's totally different. If I put the 24, see how well you see the 24? versus how difficult it is to see the 22. And again, these are the only Pittsburgh 1/2-inch metrics I own, so there's no tricks up my sleeve. The other thing that's radically different, again, between like your traditional finish versus whatever this is, it's supposedly black phosphate. I don't see sockets like this, but that's not number 2 Phillips screws. You've got 2, 2, and 2, and they're number 1 Phillips, which, I mean, even the packaging, even though it's super similar, it's even different. So I'm not sure what's going on there. Again, you can just rip these off, although when I did rip this one, something flew out. So I'm guessing it is a little bit different than this guy would be as well, but this is something I'm not going to reuse here at all. Again, there was a chance I thought I might. That's out the window. But just real quick here, we'll come to the 32, which if I had to pick one that I like, I'm going to take this over whatever they've done to these SAEs. That's stamped deeper, it's lower, which is advantageous. You got the Chrome Vanadium stamping there. You've got a nice chamfer, again, that just helps, you know, locate for you. And then up top, in terms of what they're doing, whatever you want to call that, flank drive, AS drive, you know, it's essentially to where that's rounded out, so you're not going to grab by the corner, you're going to grab by the flat. It's something, you know, everyone's doing it now. It's pretty deep on the broaching, and you see that transfer over, you know, to this 1.125 one, but the wall seems even thinner here. I'm guessing that's a cost-saving measure instead of stepping up to a larger stock size. And it's like, well, that fits, and I don't know if the exterior wall is even considered. This is like, if this was a straight chrome socket, I would consider that thin wall. Keep in mind, this would be for 3/4 stuff. And that's pretty thin, so not sure on the life expectancy of these. They do have a lifetime warranty, but sometimes you have to wonder if it's worth cashing in. But again, why you would stamp this is kind of like the 22. They did decent on Pittsburgh. The size, though, that you'd care more about is insanely difficult, and being located higher, it's just not a good setup on these SAE ones. I'm going to try. You almost have to rip these. You have to start at the bottom or the top and then go. It's like hard to get to that one, so I'm going to grab this guy. I'm not sure we can do it. It's hard with the camera here. That's something expensive I don't want to break, so I'll just go for the big one. There we go. All right, like I said, fighting the battery light here. If we die, we die. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. I'm talking about the camera battery. I don't know what will happen to me either. But once again, you can sort of make out Pittsburgh, and you're like, wow, what is this one again? 1.25 you said? Well, if you squint just right and get the light perfect, you kind of can see the big one, the hyphen, and the quarter. That's a trash job. I'm not going to candy coat it. I'm going to call it what it is. This is fine. Like the 22 was the anomaly. It's kind of like the freak, the sort of like, how did this pass quality control, if there is any. This is just bad, and then I feel like it was stamped, and then whatever they've done different in terms of applying the coating like washes that out. I would much rather have, I get it, more people probably think, oh, you know, cool, you know, shiny gloss finish is better than that junk. I'll respectfully disagree in terms of impacts, and you can't see the size markings here. There's not much I can do to save this one, so that's a wash. But I guess I will go ahead and kill this, try to get the rest of these out. Maybe we'll have like some final remarks. I will tell you, I tried to use the turbo. I really do. I try all the time to find a good use for that, and there's just none outside of like electrical stuff that I can seem to find in my life. The little 45-degree pistol grip, though, got some action, which is cool. We'll switch from the P2 to a P1, and I'll use it again to take the SAE backside off. But I gotta say, if you're in store and you're gonna grab some of these, again, we'll see. I've had good luck with the 3/8 drive. I'm not gonna lie, but that's been on the ratchet. In the past at work, I blow the swivels up. I cannot recommend those at all. Maybe in light duty stuff they'd be okay, but industrial, no, stay away. I have mixed in a few Pittsburgh here and there, like standard sockets. They've been okay, you know, not the best, certainly not terrible, especially considering the price points. but it's probably not something I would seek out short of, hey, this is a mobile emergency worst case deal, or if you're on an extreme budget. Again, I personally would recommend you go chrome moly. But if you're in the store and you see the glossy shiny ones, don't buy them. Seek out, whether you have to flip through the pegboard, ask a manager, something, try to find something that looks more like a traditional Impact, because these suck in terms of the aesthetics and the functionality there. They're also consistently, even on these big ones where you would have like a size drop down, like the wall thickness on these is a bit more impressive on the metrics. So my advice would be to find a traditional non-gloss finish and hopefully take advantage of size markings you can read. But I'm going to go ahead and get that torn apart. We'll see if we still have battery. Alright, so now in addition to the battery life, we've got 37 seconds left, but I want to highlight a couple things. Number one, that 22 is really the glaring weakness in this set. Some of the smaller sizes not stamped as well either. If it looks like it fades, it's because it does. These up here, they feel like half the weight. It's pretty bizarre, but like this is the 1/2 inch and it's just an inconsistent finish. This is not deep bird. I'm out of time, but LoneStarMopars.com, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all three at Lone Star Mopars. Thanks for watching. Leave a like, leave your thoughts. Stay away from these unless they're on sale. Have a great weekend.